today on NBN. Tucker Carlson said what? We interrupt your regularly scheduled brainwashing in order to bring you news. Breaking news. A special segment of the almost daily Zencast, focused on curious, quirky, and quixotic news items that you may have missed during the last 48-hour news cycle. Hosted by me, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. This is News Breaking News. I'm your host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Thank you for joining me. There was a lot of things in the news today. There was a lot of talking heads talking about Trump, Putin, the summit, and all the other things going on in the world. One particular bit of on-air commentary from a Fox News journalist, one particular soundbite really stood out to me today, and I wanted to take a moment to seriously address it. Please pay attention to the reference to Mexico and the suggestion, the overt suggestion in the following clip that Mexico is a more dangerous threat because of its overt attempt to interfere with American elections. I'm not kidding. Wait for it. It's great. It's buried in the middle of this rambling bit that Tucker Carlson gave on his show earlier today.
I'm not a shrink, so I don't fully understand it. I don't think Russia is our close friend or anything like that. I think, of course, they try to interfere in our affairs. They have for a long time. Many countries do, some more successfully than Russia, like Mexico, which is routinely interfering in our elections by packing our electorate. So those are all concerns. I honestly don't understand why we need to believe that Russia is the sort of primary issue of American political life. That seems kind of nuts to me. Maybe you disagree with Trump, which is totally fine. But the idea that where you are in Russia is the defining question, like that's kind of demented, actually. Because it's like number 115 on the list of real concerns, right, at least in my mind. Maybe I'm the demented one, but that's my opinion.
I posted a comment in response to Mr. Carlson on Facebook immediately. I don't follow him on social media on any of the platforms, so I don't know that I correctly addressed the @Tucker Carlson. I don't know if he has some weird variation of his name with his @sign or his hashtag. But I'll be sure to look him up and link him to my original post. I'll paraphrase it for you here. To suggest that Mexico is attempting to interfere with American elections by, quote, packing the electorate with illegal immigrants as a government program is patently absurd. Here's the proof. Do you think that if all those Mexicans that snuck over here illegally throughout all time were actually part of a program to hijack elections, do you think those Mexicans would have voted Republicans into office and put them into supermajority the way we are now? Do you think Mexicans would have voted Trump for office? Now, Mexicans did vote for Trump. Mexicans, Latin Americans, Cubans, all kinds of people voted for Trump. There was that famous Blacks for Trump guy with the sign, the black dude back there. Hey, Blacks for Trump! Okay, so that's reality. Mexicans did indeed vote for Trump. I know Mexico pretty decently. And I don't know how many Fox watchers there are in Mexico, but any of them right now probably laughing their asses off. Because if Mexico had sent all those people specifically to hijack elections and get what Mexico wanted out of them, there would be Latin Americans in government, at the city level, the state level, and yes, the federal level. And while there are numerous Latin American folks on both sides and in various political parties, if this were a program by Mexico, Mexicans would be in every office, yo. Like, literally every office would be jam-packed. And I'm not saying this as a criticism of Mexico or its people. For those of you who do not know, I have strong ties to Mexico, especially the indigenous people from Latin American countries, but particularly Mexico. And so when I say that if Mexico was doing this as an agenda, as a programmed agenda, that the government was like, okay, güey, vamos a mandar todos los ilegales que mandamos, a todos los vamos a llenar con votos, ¿ves? Se van a llenar los votos y vamos a votar mexicano, ¿eh? They would have divvied up the United States and said, okay, los cubanos se llevan a Florida y Nueva York. Los nicaragüeños se quedan con el centro, güey, así todo esto cerca a los Rockies, ahí, y los mexicanos aquí con Texas y Arizona y California, pues ¿te acuerdas? Todas las partes de los Estados Unidos que antes eran México, güey. My point being, I mean, for those of you who have yet to witness a clear and precise and unrefutable example of white entitlement thinking, that's it right there. To insult the country from which you stole this land by saying that they're sending, first of all, they're sending the rapists, the drug dealers, and some of them, I'm sure, are fine people. My Trump impression is, I think, getting worse by the day instead of better. You think it'd be getting more, I haven't really been practicing, but to go from that extreme and on top of that extreme, and insulting set of statements by the president, that those same people, those lazy, freeloading, drug dealing, job stealing, jumbo shrimp people are also on top of that hijacking your elections. Let me tell you, there wouldn't be so many silly, waspy white people in office if that were going on. I can guarantee you that, sir. And there'd be a lot more brown people from every nation that feels the sting of imperial oppression and capitalist land theft up here getting into every single possible seat. That's the proof. That's the proof that Mexico is not doing that, and that the words that just came out of Tucker Carlson's mouth are bullshit, clusterfuckery, brainwash lies to get his base to be paranoid and angry at Mexicans for idiotic reasons that are not founded on any facts whatsoever. The illegal aliens that come up here don't magically get a vote for free without having a green card pass. They don't. And the idiocy that President Trump continues to insist that God knows how many illegal aliens were bust in from somewhere. Drivel. Racist drivel. And that aggression, for me personally, despite everything else that's going on today, that aggression from Mr. Carlson, I could not let stand. So I hope my Latino brothers and sisters who might happen to magically stumble onto this episode, that you might join me in not in insulting, not in ridiculing, but in being firm, in making it clear that what Mr. Carlson was doing, we all can see through, was not innocent, was not absent-minded, was dog whistle, racist race baiting. And that he owes all of Latin America a country for that bullshit. ASAP, por favor. So no, Mr. Carlson, your theory is indeed deranged. Your word, not mine. That's today's ridiculous moment out of anybody on the media. Now, this is today's moment of ridiculousness in mass media. Thank you for joining me for news, breaking news. And that is the latest news, breaking news. We now return you to your regularly scheduled brainwashing. Thank you for listening.